All right, hey, welcome back for another one. Last video showed you guys that the motor has come a long ways. We're almost wrapped up. We have a few little things to do, so we're gonna try to show you that today. First thing we're gonna work on is we're gonna get this feed line made and installed, and then we're gonna tackle the last fuel line that needs to go here. We have the fitting down there. That'll be completed, and then we can work on getting the Emap canister mounted up. So spent the day yesterday looking at some wiring as far as how I want to tap into the ECU for the sensor block, and I think I have a plan for that. I also tried fitting up the bumper yesterday, and unfortunately I did have to recess a little bit there to get that to fit. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think ideally we would have wanted this to step back just, an inch and tuck in a little bit more, but it's all good. Can't complain. So let's get started with making that hose, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so dash 4 feed line coming up from the 40 PSI regulator mounted on the back. I'll try to show you that to our braided. And I have some heat shield on it already, so we just got to trim this back to the correct size and it should be good to go. That's going to look nice right there. So we'll mark it, we'll cut it, and go. So this is how I've been making these hoses and cutting them. Just a 4-inch cutoff wheel and straight down, get it as square as possible, clean them out, pressure test them. So let's get this one going. Okay, so here it is, finished up, nice and even. Looks great there, flats line up. Now we're gonna just pressure test it to make sure there are no leaks, and we do that by using these fittings we have here. Let's see. It's gonna be this guy and this guy. Put them on both ends and then pump it up with some pressure and put it in water, and we'll see what we get. All right, so it's a simple setup. This is just a bike pump. We have 120 PSI in there. This hose is obviously only gonna see 40 max, so well over what it's gonna ever see. Now there are bubbles, but that's coming out of the actual pump fitting, not my end. So these all look good. No bubbles there. Like I said, no bubbles there. Should be good to go. So that one's checked off the box. Now let's hope we can get the fire sleeve over those fittings. I did forget to put it on there, but then I was thinking, well, can this get wet, or should it get wet? So we'll see if we can get that on there. So here's that 40 PSI regulator. I have it attached to the block there with a P-clamp, insulated, and then that's our feed line going up. This is the supply line coming back. I have heat wrap on that as well. There's our wastegate, our drain plug, and all looks pretty good down here. So I'm happy with this. And now we can tighten it up from the top. Okay, installed, ready to rock and roll. So that looks great. That's a 120 to get it to swing down and drop straight. The next thing I need to do is make this fuel line. I'm just gonna go there, and it'll tuck nice and neat right back there and come up. What else? Gosh, we're getting close. So, it's all there. I really like the way this turned out too. So this is the power for alternator and coming off the battery, and then this is for the fuel pump relay, and it looks really, really nice there. So let's get this fuel line made. Okay, so I got that last fuel line made. I had I think a 30 on here initially, and I swapped it out to a 45. It just seems to drop better. I know this isn't great, but for now it'll work. I'll get a clip there to keep those nice and neat. So this is the feed coming up from the filter. So I put a 120 sweep on it, and it comes under there and then up, and then our fuel will go through the rail, the 180 down under, up into the flex sensor, regulator, and then down and out the return. So the next thing we have to do is we have to get that canister mounted for the Emap. So I'm going to figure out something here and how I want to do this. Something like that is what I'm thinking. And the reason I have that 90 on there is because I have a plug in my harness that I can use that can reach right to here. So that's my reasoning behind that. And I don't think that looks bad. So if we can get that mounted up, and then I'm thinking I have to figure out where I have the copper coils go to. So I can have them somewhere here or maybe under the turbo and then a straight line to make it look clean. So we'll see. I'm gonna do them pretty tight. I don't wanna go any smaller than that, but that should work. And I think the distance is far enough away too that will be okay by the time we get to there. So let's try to figure this out. Okay, so here's where I decided to mount this. It's raised up about an inch off of the body of the car there, just a 10 mil, used a factory hole. And our sensor wire does reach, which is nice. So it simplifies it a lot. I don't think it looks bad there. And then I'm gonna run the coil, come off here with a little 90 bend and then do my coils right here before I route it back over here to the turbine housing. So I have the copper tubing out in the sun, warming up just so it helps it bend a little easier. And then we'll see. I'm gonna try to do it as nice and neat as I can, and then we'll see what we get. Okay, so I got this mounted and sensors plugged in and the copper line is here. Let's get this out of the way. And it just routes back through here, makes a nice little turn, and then angles up into the turbine housing. So that looks pretty good. I decided to do the coils here rather than under there. My thought was if this coil is under this hot turbine, is it gonna cool the air enough being so warm and so hot all the time? So moving it over here gives it time, and this is way, will be much cooler over here. Maybe I'll paint it black down the road or whatever, but we'll just get it working for sure. Now I'm working on wiring this up. I have the pins on, ready to go into to plug, and then get that situated. So those went on nicely, and yeah, we'll keep going. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I was unable to get this pinned in. Unfortunately, I am out of AVI slots on my ECU. I was hoping to be able to get all of these in there, but that's not the case. So what I'm gonna have to do is send 2 of them up to the back of the IC7, and that'll be Emap as well as crankcase pressure. So still can make this work. These will have to just get extended under the dash up. And I do need to swap over a couple wires at the plug because I'm using the fuel pressure plug for Emap. And what I need to do is swap this because the Emap plug is into the fuel pressure. They just won't reach with how it's configured in the ECU or in the harness. So I'm going to do a swap at the plug. So then we read fuel pressure and we'll send Emap up to the dash as well. So all in all, it's doable. We'll be able to do it. Just a little hiccup, but I have some good support and people who are helping me out with this. So these look great. They're ready to rock and roll. All in all, I think the day was great. This turned out pretty good. You can see how it flows under there and then makes a nice little 90 straight up. So all in all, we're good to go. Oh, there is one thing. A couple days ago when I was adding my ground wire, I was torquing that on and it just sheared the stud off. I had the torque wrench set correctly. I even tried it on other ones to make sure, but probably just an old stretched fatigue stud there. So I'm going to replace all of them. I have those coming in today from Honda. So just have to pull that valve cover off, replace those 6, and we can get this back buttoned up. But anywho, all in all, we're making progress, and we should be making our deadline. So thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the next one.